there, this is Dawn Marie from Sign Parties 101, Sign Party Central, and the Board Box, answering all your questions about DIY, sign making parties to get you out the door and running on your own sign party business. Now, I've been answering your questions in 5 minutes or less, so let's get started on today's question. What is a good size party to have? So there's a few things you want to take into consideration when you're thinking about the size of party that you want to have. First off, what is the space going to be like? Now, you have to decide whether you want to be a mobile party, which means you want to go out and you bring all the materials to the people. So I was 100% mobile before I had my studio here. And so I went out to businesses, to restaurants, to people's homes, sheds, living rooms, wherever they wanted me, that's where I went. If you are going to go somewhere, what is that space? What does that look like? How many people can that space hold? And two, you'll want to keep in mind the amount of money it's costing you versus how much you're making. If it's going to cost you X amount of dollars per sign, you're going to prep all the signs, and then you're only going for 3 people, is that going to be worth your time? The answer might be yes, and I'll explain that in a second. So if you go to a party that has just a few people at it, at first you might think it's not really worth your time, right? Because those few signs aren't going to cover the cost that it would take to prepare everything, to go there, whether it's yourself or an instructor that you pay, and it's just not really worth it. But if you think of it as marketing and advertising for your parties, especially when you're first starting out, I would suggest that you wouldn't get caught up in the number of people. That typically comes when you're busy and you have a lot of parties going and you can afford to say no to the smaller parties in order to book the larger ones. But that usually comes later. So when you're first starting, even if it is a party of 3, 4, 5, just think that is that many more people that can go out and tell others about your party. Do not minimize the importance of small parties, because it's those people. All it takes is one person that knows the whole town or has a million friends, and they go and tell all their friends about you. So again, right when you're starting out, do not minimize the importance of having parties, even if it is just a few people. So back to the numbers. When I got busy, I liked to have a minimum of 10 people at a party. Now, would I turn people away if there was only 8 or 9? Absolutely not. I would not do that. But I would suggest to people that had under 10 or significantly less under 10 that we would package up all their signs as a kit, and then they can just do it at their own time. I would give instructions, everything else, all the supplies that they would need, but I would not have to be there, so it wouldn't take my time doing it. So we would just turn those into kit parties, and then they would pick up their supplies and do it on their own time. I found this was a lot more profitable for me to do the smaller parties with me not having to be there, but still getting the money for the signs. Again, I only suggest this once you're up and running and have an established business already. And then the maximum amount of people is, again, how is your space looking? How many people can you hold? And then how much help do you have? I would not suggest doing a party for 25, 30, 40, 50 people and only having yourself available to help. That's when you need to bring in more people, hire some friends to come help you and instruct those parties. As far as the maximum size, it's really all what your space allows and then the help that you have. So when you're first starting out, I'd say don't focus on the size of the party. Focus on getting your name out there, getting in front of people, maybe stepping out of your comfort zone a little bit, and just having as many people either come through your doors or you going through theirs. Regardless if it's 3 people, if it's 10 people, don't focus on the number of people in order to be successful. Just focus on getting out there, getting started, and getting that snowball rolling. So there you have it. There's the answer for today's question. Make sure you like and subscribe, and we'll be back to answer more questions soon.